Next week, there's going to be a national boycott of McDonald's. Well, that should save some lives. Actually, the boycott's because Mickey D's is one of those international corporations that are backing down to Trump and their DEI practices. McDonald's, which is the world's largest fast food chain, announced that they're going to retire specific diversity goals for its senior leadership and end a supplier-focused initiative that sought to increase minority representation. God, does that sound like it was written by some soulless robot?
Might I add, these are two very different, complicated global conflicts, as you know, that the president inherited from our previous incompetent president in the weakness of the previous administration. And the president has...
So what Mickey D's is actually saying is we can go back to our practice of hiring black people, but only promoting them if they figure out how to be white. America First Legal, the nonprofit run by Stephen Miller, Trump's deputy chief of staff for policy and human butt plug, tweeted that the fast food chain's DEI rollback was a major victory. Of course, he thought slavery was too.
For Americans and Americans only.
Now, this boycott is by the far left, but MAGA has launched several boycotts of their own in recent years, such as the Bud Light thing in 2023. After Bud Light partnered with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney, Bud Light's sales plummeted, and its parent company, Anheuser-Busch InBev, saw a drop in stock value. But they both recovered, and Anheuser didn't bend.
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today.
I got some Bud Lights for us.
Now, all of this I find only slightly ironic. I mean, if you really want to hurt McDonald's, leave them alone. Trump is killing them all by himself.
This is the first time McDonald's has seen a drop in sales since late 2020. The company is in trouble. For the first time in years, McDonald's is reporting a global decline in sales, down 1%. Its stock has taken a major hit, dropping 15%. The reason? Customers are finding their meals too pricey and are choosing to eat at home instead. McDonald's global sales are down unexpectedly, with tariff-related chaos shaking consumer confidence. McDonald's effort to bring down prices is clashing with a Trump-era trade problem. Just this quarter, 12,000 locations, 60,000 jobs, and $5 billion in revenue have been wiped out. And no, this isn't a typo, but a full-blown red alert issued by McDonald's itself. Early this morning in Chicago, CEO Chris Kempczinski went live with a startling announcement. We're pulling production lines and temporarily shutting down all U.S. operations to minimize our losses. The shockwaves hit Wall Street instantly. MCD stock crashed 18%. On top of that, a class action lawsuit worth over $30 billion, backed by 1,700 franchise owners, landed on a federal judge's desk. The suit blames protectionist White House tariffs for breaking supply chains and wrecking McDonald's low-cost business model. From the Big Mac, once the crown jewel of American fast food, to the latest victim of a worsening trade war, the fall is jarring. When a brand as iconic as McDonald's is forced to retreat in its home country, you have to wonder, is Make America Great Again still a slogan? Or now a wake-up call about the dangers of protectionism?
Okay, I'm really divided on this one. Watching Trump's tariffs slowly destroy American businesses, farms, and quality of life pisses me off, especially the way Trump mumbles about tariffs.
Tariffs. To me, I think it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary. More beautiful than love.
What a senile cockwaffle, manipulating markets with tariffs so he and his friends can pump and dump and make millions.
One of the attractions that people don't seem to really understand why Trump loves tariffs so much is that historically, tariffs are the biggest driver of political corruption because every single interest goes hat in hand and either asks for an exemption to tariffs or asks that their competition get tariffed. It is a way to beseech those in power for special pleading. And that, I think, is the economic philosophy of this administration.
But back to McDonald's. With their sales dropping because of the tariffs, it reveals their core business model. We make food for MAGA, the dim-witted core of Trump's support. But that also reveals how McDonald's decline is also MAGA's decline, which should be Trump's decline.
On March 1st, 2025, the America First 2.0 executive order went into effect, approving the highest tariff package in modern U.S. history. A 25% tax on most imports from Canada and Mexico, with threats to raise it to 145% on certain sensitive goods. Just 3 weeks later, an even steeper tariff was slapped on Chinese imports. Described by Reuters as eye-watering, at first these tariffs seemed like just numbers, but their ripple effects were immediate. Ottawa responded with its own 25% tariffs on $30 billion worth of U.S. goods, from beef and cheese to fine wines. Meanwhile, Brussels launched $28 billion in countermeasures, banning red meat and dairy products. This was a disaster for McDonald's. The company's just-in-time supply chain was built on imports. 70% of its beef came from Canada, along with cheese from Europe and frozen fries from overseas. In just 90 days, that system broke down completely. U.S. ground beef prices have jumped 43% since 2020, partly because Canada reduced its cattle supply to prepare for incoming tariffs. That made the cost of a Big Mac hit all-time highs. Lamb Weston, which produces over 3.3 billion servings of fries each year, admitted it raised prices 23% just to cover new shipping and import taxes. As a result, first quarter 2025 output fell by 8%. But the problem goes beyond ingredients. Paper wrappers and plastic cups made in Mexico and China are now 25% more expensive due to new tariffs, causing packaging costs to skyrocket by 50%. This devastated the economics of McDonald's famous $1 menu, a model that relies on massive volume and razor-thin profit margins. The National Restaurant Association had already warned. Fast food chains in the U.S. operate on pre-tax profits of around 5%. A cost increase of over 10% makes them instantly unprofitable.
Now, McDonald's is a uniquely American institution. It serves high-calorie, fatty food fast and to largely lower-income, lower-educated Americans who eat it and get fat and they get diabetes, which their government will not assist in medicating. Of course, MAGA didn't know that, or anything really.
Do you support Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
Affordable Care Act.
And why is that?
Well, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Obama.
Do you support Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
I guess the Affordable Care.
Why do you like the Affordable Care Act more than Obamacare?
Because I don't like Obama.
But you like the Affordable Care Act?
Yeah.
What if I told you Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are the same thing?
My favorite part of McDonald's is when they introduce salads. Like someone who is health conscious would go there for a salad. I mean, if you really want to help Americans at McDonald's, make the doors small and narrow so fat people can't get inside. But the use of boycotts is admittedly difficult these days, especially now because there's so many corporations that have sold their souls. You'd have to grow your own food and live off the grid. Amazon and Bezos, Musk and Twitter, and Tesla, Walmart for their hiring practices, and the list goes on and on and on. With some exceptions, the LA Dodgers recently banned ICE members with masks from their property, and they stuck to it. I still hate the Dodgers, but behind all of this, of course, is Captain Man-Titties, destroying our economy one business at a time. But that should surprise no one. The guy had 6 bankruptcies, 6, and one of them was a casino. How do you lose a casino? The odds are in your favor. I mean, unless you cheat. Trump's tariffs, along with the mass deportation of cooks, busboys, and farm workers, won't end tomorrow. The world is already pushing back, and they won't back down to Man-Titties.
Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, fuck off.
McDonald's is an American institution like apple pie and asbestos, and they, along with many other fast food franchises, will be devastated.
McDonald's once managed to stay profitable, even with 5% margins. But now, with all these costs added up, the chain could slip into the red before a single burger hits the griddle. Every time the fryer beeps, it might not signal profit, but loss.
But I do like the French fries where I'll be working.
So McDonald's backed the wrong horse, and with Trump's economy, that horse might soon be on this menu.
Goddamn right.
Do you have no shame?
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.